Hello everyone, this is Kaizen here. I'm going to be casting a 1 versus 1. Friend Orbital sent me this game with the tagline funny, so we'll see how it goes. We have Orbital Run in the bottom left corner here, spawning as a red Protoss. And we got Centaur as the blue Zerg over here. I think blue's a cool color for Zerg because it kind of goes with the creep and just looks kind of cool. I'm going to open up the production here, and since it's the start of the game, you're just going to see probes being produced one by one. This is a fairly lengthy game, but I have not seen it yet, so we'll see what happens throughout. Because Orbital's going as against a Zerg, he's going to wall in right here, but something he does differently is on this map, you can actually wall off this ramp and protect your natural, which is right over here. And then still protect your main. The only thing you have to worry about is kind of like trickery from drops or Nidus Worm up here. But you can just throw a pylon to scout that. He's sending his probe. Fortunately, he sends him all the way to the north and his opponents to the east, which is this distance actually favors Zerg because he just has to come around this way. And it's still a pretty long rush distance because this is a large map. I think this is Terhandim Altar. Yeah, there it is in the middle. It's one of the newer maps they're using for 1v1, whereas they're getting larger, but they're player created, which is kind of cool because Blizzard's listening to what players want, and they've been using tournaments, but they're putting them into the ladder now because they're pretty balanced and they're a lot better than, say, a Scrapyard or any small little 1v1 map where 6 Zerglings are going to crush you. Zerg's going pool at 13, which is kind of standard for 1v1 if you're not rushing. And he should expand at 15. We'll see what he does. And then Orbital's busy walling in with his cannon here, gateway here. And he's still scouting. The Zerg hasn't scouted. He kind of does Overlord over here. I kind of would send the Overlord all the way up or all the way east, just to get a scout with it, but he's not. His pool's up, and he's at 18 drones, so he is supply blocked here, and he doesn't have an Overlord coming out, so that's going to hurt him a bit. He has a Queen, which wasn't able to produce till just now, which is coming out, and he's getting his gas. Orbital's wall is complete. Now, he's completely walled in here, I believe. Not 100% sure on that, but we'll find out. But I don't think he can get out with his units, but shouldn't matter at the start of the game because he has all this room, and he's going to have a fast expo here that's protected. Zerg already expanded, and there's his hatchery going up right there. And Orbital did scout that, I believe. We're going to take a quick look. And he did scout the base, but he got there before the expansion went down, so he doesn't know about that yet. Meanwhile, if we take a look at Centaur's map, he has no clue what the Protoss is doing. And he's just building a spine crawler. I mean, if he's expanding down here, I actually probably would have put spine crawlers down here. But because he can move them, it's not a big issue to get one up there and then move it down to protect your expo later. He's getting a Roach Warrant, which is always a good idea because they're really decent against gateway units such as Stalkers and Zealots, and they're cheaper. Towards the mid-game, though, Roaches become really weak as the Stalker numbers increase. Zealots get a +1 attack or armor. They just don't hold up, and that's where you want to go Hydras or Mutas. And Hydras do crazy damage. As long as they're protected, you get a few Roaches in front. They can take out gateway units fast. He's got a cybernetic core researching Warp Gate here. And let's take a look at the economic tag real quick. And Zerg's getting more income now because his expo is up, but it's not got any drones on it, but he's been droning up pretty hard. You can see he has no units, I believe. 2 Zerglings, which is actually smart to do with Zerg in the beginning, especially if you know, well, he doesn't know that he expanded, but he knows Protoss is probably going to macro up a bit. So that's when Zerg, you want to macro up a bit. Looking at food count, Zerg's are high, but again, that's all drones, 28 to 19. So if we go back to income, gas is about the same, but minerals are favoring the Zerg. Looking at units, he's now got 6 Zerglings, 2 Roaches, and it's actually a really good play by Orbital here because we're 7 minutes into the game and he's got 2 Stalkers, which is awesome. I mean, there's no reason to produce units if you're not going to attack with them, and you don't need them for defense. I mean, throwing out 12 Zealots and 2 Stalkers is not going to do you anything when you're trying to expand and macro up. So getting your first unit out eventually is good. Like I said, he's walled in here so he can't move out with them. Probably would throw a pylon here so you can warp in your army further back. And if we're going to go to production tab just to see what they're building, and he's getting burrow and roach speed, I believe. Is that roach speed? No, it's burrow and I think faster overlord movement. So he is going to probably try for a drop. Not sure yet. He's getting his Evo chamber, which is always good to get a Zerg, even if you're going air, because that lets you build spore crawlers, gets you defense for all your ground units, and gives you range for your roaches, well, range attack for your roaches and your hydras. Just got his expo up. He moved his spine crawler down, which is what I suggested. And he's got a pretty nice defense here. He's spreading his creep pretty nicely. Looking at the units, how many queens does he have? He's got 2 queens. Probably would build a third just to keep spreading creep and protect against any early void harass or whatnot. But that's not coming. That's smart to get 1 cannon behind your base because you never know if they're going to do a drop or trickery or whatnot. Probably would have put a pylon up here just to scout anything. But I mean, if he knows his opponent down here, chances are he's not going to come around and go like that, which would be smart, but chances are he's not going to do that. He scouted on here with his Zergling just to see his front wall, and the cannon took care of that pretty quickly. Let's take a look at what he saw, but he saw the 2 cannons, gateway and forge. Doesn't tell him much. Tells him probably going gateway units, but I mean, 1 gateway is a must, so he doesn't know too much. He's getting Twilight Council here, but no research yet. And he's got the 2 gas up. He's trying to saturate this space here, and his main's kind of undersaturated, but it's still decent enough. Incomes are getting a little high for players. I mean, Zerg's at 700, but at 50 minerals, so he should be building something, Zerglings. Or actually getting drones on these gases, because he's got 2 gas gases up with no drones on them. It's kind of a mistake on his part. It's researching attack. It's researching hallucination. A lot of people forget to get hallucination. It's actually pretty decent. You can clone Colossi. You can make a Phoenix and scout his base. So he destroyed his pylon in the back, which took out this warp gate, which is a little funny. I mean, but it's not necessary right now. And this way he can move out to the back of his base. And he can expand it to here. It's kind of a short run too. If he goes back here, or he can come back up here to here. He's moving on with a few roaches. Not too many for this point in the game. And then he's got a few changelings over there, which no one uses. Actually, I've seen them a couple of times, but I don't know. I think they're easy to spot if you have a random unit, not with your army. Kind of like what's up with that. These hallucinations are usually stacked with your army or just used for scouting purposes. Let's see what I mean. He's like, why those 3 Zealots just spawn in the middle of my army? So he's going to kill it. And there goes that changeling. Also takes him a few seconds to change color too. So he knows that they're not real right away. He should have did it back here and then kind of like walked around. But this cannon would have detected it anyway and killed it. But it did give him some view, and he knows that he's taking his 3rd, which is pretty surprising. You got Zerg's army right up here, so the armies are kind of out of place here. But DTs are always nice in your army, really good to get. I mean, 1 or 2, don't go overboard with it, and nobody knows they're there. I mean, they're just beating on units, and you're like, oh man, his army's doing so much damage to mine, but it's the DTs in there that are just whacking away. And you can see he doesn't have an overlord, or overseer, I mean, to scout that. He's kind of going all sorts of tech. He's getting +1/+1 for air, but he has no air at the moment. And here comes a bunch of Hydra. So I don't know what the Spire is for, unless he thinks he's going to go Colossi, and then you want to pump out some, not mutas, but some corruptors. And it's good to have a Spire just to pop them out when you do need them. He moved his army here and took out that Roach army pretty easily. Did bust his front a little. I mean, that's a problem with putting a gateway up there. You lose that and you lose your cannons, but it did stop him. If he takes out that Overseer, that's going to be huge because, yeah. Now he can't detect these DTs unless he builds another one. It's a nice hidden base up here. And is he going to push here? We'll find out. Zerg doesn't have much, but he's throwing up some defensive crawlers here. One in his back. He's got a shitload of minerals. I don't know why he's not building stuff. And it looks like he's going to get crushed here by this army. So he goes up to Nidus Worm real quick. Changes his mind. Leaves it alive. Yes, Zealots are coming into your main. I don't know what the point of changelings are. Oh! 2 Colossi are coming. Out of nowhere, they just appear in your base. But they're hallucinations. And looks like Zerg doesn't have much to defend against this. Although the Colossi is not actually doing damage. So Zerg's like, oh crap, what do I do? But it's the TTs that are doing damage. Just wailing away at stuff. And he's got his